This is a fully interactive horror story where you decide what happens next. To survive, you need to make the right choices. Did you always think you'd survive any horror movie situation? Well, now you can try yourself. This story completely changes depending on your decisions. There are 11 different endings, hidden routes, timed choices, and multiple ways to die. Good luck. You will need it. It's Friday evening. You're at home in your student apartment, snuggled in your pajamas, ice cream tub in one hand and the TV remote in the other. It's late autumn, and you've just spent an entire day at uni and then hunched over books in the library. You can feel your eyes burning, but there's nothing in this world that will make you sacrifice your sweet brain rot time. Just as you're about to switch off your brain, you hear a knock on the door. You pause. Who could that be? Maybe, if you sit quietly and just ignore it, they will go away. Your hopes are shattered when you hear another persistent knock and the voice of your best friend coming from behind the door. "I know you're there. Open or I'm breaking the lock." You sign and stand up, opening the front door. Your best friend, Julie, barges in like a ray of sunshine. She looks gorgeous as always. Her hair, makeup, clothes. Her look makes you cover yesterday's pizza stains on your t-shirt. Julie comes inside with a familiarity that she has obtained over the years of knowing you. "We are going to a party," she says in a commanding tone. You pause. A party? What is she talking about? You tell her you don't know about any parties, but she quickly shushes you and shows you her phone. There, you see a message history from a week ago, with Julie inviting you somewhere and you texting "okay" in lowercase letters. A clear sign you were not paying attention. Well, now it's time to pay for that. "Don't tell me you forgot," Julie says, more as a statement than a question. You give her the puppy look and ask if you maybe could stay inside. "No way," Julie replies. "I barely got this rich guy from my biology class to invite me as a favor, and I'm not wasting this chance. You've been avoiding people for months, and we are going out to have a good time tonight. I'll give you 20 minutes, and then I'm dragging you out of this cave that smells like wet socks." You hesitate to answer. Julie is right. You have been avoiding people lately. It's been easier to sit alone and scroll through socials looking at someone else's life than living your own. If it weren't for Julie, you think you'd forget what human interaction looked like. But again, you really don't feel like going to a party tonight. You look at your comfy sofa and your favorite ice cream. They are calling to you. Julie gives you a happy shriek as she hugs you tightly. "I knew it wasn't too late for you. Now go and make yourself look human again." As she says that, Julie sits down on the sofa and helps herself to your ice cream. You hop into a quick shower, change into your best outfit and come back. Julie gives you a nod before taking your hand and leading you out of your apartment. Her car is parked outside. You sit in the front seat as Julie drives you through the familiar streets. The sky is dark, with no stars, and only the pale moon illuminating the road ahead. You watch curiously as the car passes through the streets until you leave the town altogether. You ask Julie where you're going, to which she smiles. "I told you, this guy is crazy rich. His aunt owns a mansion in the woods and she asked him to watch it for the weekend. It's 40 minutes away, but it's worth it, I swear." You groan as you sink into your seat. It occurs to you that this might be the reason Julie hadn't mentioned the location before. She knew you'd bail on her. Lulled by the road, you find your thoughts drifting away as you feel your eyes closing. You wake up suddenly when your friend stops the car, pulling out her phone. "Didn't even bother to send the location," Julie mutters as she's furiously typing. Sleep still heavy on your eyelids, you look through the car window. The city landscape is gone, and now you're surrounded by the forest as far as you can see. It is dark and the moonlight barely illuminates the side of the road. It feels odd. You can feel something at the back of your brain scratching at you to pay attention. You focus on the view ahead, trying to find anything out of the ordinary among the endless rows of trees. And then you see it, a figure, Something that resembles a human is hiding behind a tree just a dozen steps away from the car. They look thin, it's almost unnatural. You squint as you realize the stranger is dressed all in black. Your stomach twists as you stare at the figure. What are they doing here? Do they need help? Should you call them? You squint harder, trying to see more details of the stranger's appearance, which is hard since they are almost completely obscured by the trees. It hits you that this person hasn't moved at all since the car stopped. You get the strangest feeling that you are the one being observed. You can't see the figure's face, but there's something screaming at the back of your mind, telling you to run, to hide, to do everything to get as far away as possible. Just as you decide that you've had enough, your friend emits a triumphant huff. Finally got the signal. The show's back on the road, she says to you as she pushes the pedals again. You sharply turn to look at the stranger, but they're gone. Before you can take another look, the car is already riding away. It's for the best, you think. Turns out the house was close by, and Julie just had to find the right turn. It's a 2-story mansion made of wood, which from the looks of it was meant to be a summer vacation home. The gate is wide open as your car goes inside, and Julie parks on one of the last available spots. Loud music and changing party lights are pouring from the inside. You can see the blurred silhouettes of the house guests as you step out of the car. You feel a familiar sense of dread creep inside you, and you question if it's not too late to flee. Unfortunately for you, Julie has already closed the car and put the keys in her purse, which basically means you are stuck here until she decides to leave. You take a deep breath and step inside. The party is packed with people you don't know. You follow Julie as she effortlessly navigates the space and stands in a free corner. "I'm going to say hi to Victor," she says to you. Dread fills you immediately. Is she going to leave you? You ask who Victor is. "The host, silly. The guy from my class, remember? Anyway, enjoy the party. I'll find you later." "Hun, try talking to people, alright? I promise they don't bite," she says, and giving you one last smile, goes away. Julie will be gone for a while. Might as well try enjoying yourself. As time passes, you again find yourself in the familiar corner where Julie left you before. Only this time, it's occupied by a pair in the middle of making out. You feel awkward, but the exit is cut off by a group of party guests, so you remain in place, trying to keep some distance from the couple. Your ears start burning as you hear the girl moan, pressed against the wall by the guy in black. You try not to look in their direction. After a minute or so, the guy pulls away and leaves faster than you can blink. Weird. Maybe he went to get some drinks? You take a quick glance at the girl and freeze. She doesn't look good. She leans against the wall, shaking all over, clutching her shoulder. Her face is twisted with pain. You think you even see tears. What has the guy done to her? You approach her quickly and ask if she's okay. She doesn't move, but her eyes shoot in your direction. They are bloody red. The girl grabs at your arm, muttering something. Her voice is too weak to understand, so you lean closer. The whites of her eyes are blood red. She's shaking, but still holding onto your arm for dear life. Only now you notice that she's very pale, unnaturally pale. You have a bad feeling about this. The girl pulls away from you and falls to the ground with a noise muffled by the music. You freeze. Your throat contorts like you're about to throw up. You hear a loud scream, but it's not yours. You turn your head and see a guy clutching at his bloody neck, limping away from a tall figure in black. It takes a moment for the mass of guests to understand what's happening. Some people freeze, some try to back away, some even laugh with a nervous kind of laughter. Not you though. You open your eyes wide and notice something you haven't paid attention to before. Something that your brain was trying to avoid. In every corner of the room, scattered in a circle, there are figures in black. They stand out from the crowd with their long necks and disproportionately prolonged faces. A scream is ready to return to your lungs as your brain finally lets you recognize the figures. They are the same as the stranger from the woods. As if a spell is broken, you see their unnatural milk-white skin, shark-like teeth, and absence of noses. How come nobody at the party noticed before? The figure closest to you grabs the screaming girl, pushing through her ribcage with its long claws. The girl emits one last scream before the monster plunges its teeth into her neck. The room falls completely silent, save for the obnoxious pop melody still pouring from the speakers. Then panic begins. You stay in your spot, pushed against the wall by a terrified guest. Your legs trip over something and you fall down. The girl from before looks at you with wide open horror frozen in her dead eyes. Someone screams, then another person, then another. You can't see what's happening, but you hear something tearing, and then the metallic smell assaults your senses. You hear the door opening, and then more screaming. "They're at the entrance!" someone shouts before you process the horrible screeching noise of a wild animal coming from the outside. You struggle to stand up, but your legs are intertwined with the dead girl. Your whole body shakes, you push her away, finally freeing yourself. You stand up. That was a mistake. A creature is standing in front of you. It's so close you can make out its small, beady eyes set against giant bat-like ears. You emit a loud, piercing scream. The creature leaps at you. You shut your eyes, putting your arms in front of you. When no pain follows, you open them to see a guy in a leather jacket pushing the creature away from you. He's punching the monster straight in the mouth, but it does nothing. The creature shrieks and bites the guy's hand. He's fighting for his life, but just as he's about to shake off the monster, another creature jumps at him from behind. You clench your fists and run away, doing your best to ignore the guy screaming as the second monster's claws tear at him. You push through the terrified guests locked between the hysterical mass of bodies and the monsters attacking from everywhere. Somehow you reach the stairs and climb on all fours, making as little sound as possible. As you reach the second floor, it feels like a whole other world. The music is much quieter, no flashing party lights, and no screaming bodies. You stand up on your shaking legs and take a few steps forward. You must hide somewhere. You take a turn and stop in your tracks. A creature is standing at the end of the corridor, its back turned to you. It hasn't noticed you yet, but it's not moving either. Just standing, staring at the wall and swaying lightly. Sweat is dripping down your forehead. The creature slowly turns around. You are inside a bathroom. There are 3 other people, a girl and 2 guys, one of them wearing bright red glasses. The girl was the one who let you inside. She closes the door, careful to lock it quietly. "Oh God, oh God," you hear the guy with glasses mutter to himself. "Shut up, Vic," the girl whispers back angrily. Your legs can't hold you anymore, so you fall to the floor. The second guy shushes you. "Those things have super hearing or some shit." Any sound and we're dead. You nod and turn to the girl. You mouth "thank you" silently. She smiles and nods back. Vic keeps freaking out in the corner. He's sitting on the floor, rocking back and forth. "Oh, Hunt is going to kill me. They trashed the place." You remember that Vic, or rather Victor, was the name of the host that Julie wanted to talk to. Could that guy be... Julie! A flash of pain runs through your chest. Where is she? You don't remember seeing her during the attack. Is she alive? Maybe she escaped. Your heart starts pounding again. You crawl to Victor, tugging at his shirt. He's still muttering about the damage to his aunt's antique sofas. You slap him. "What was that for?" he exclaims as you put your hand on his mouth. You ask him if he knows Julie. He does. You ask him if they've talked. They did. You ask him if he knows where Julie is now. He shakes his head. You sigh. Aside from Julie being your best friend, she's also the one with the car keys. You must get out of this place, and you must find Julie, only to know that she is still alive. You suddenly remember the guy from earlier, how he punched the monster to protect you, how you left him behind, scared out of your soul. You grab your shoulders and squeeze until the burning pain comes. The girl who opened the door tags you on the shoulder. She asks you what Julie looks like. After you tell her, the girl's eyes lit up. She saw Julie running upstairs just behind her. There's a chance your friend is hiding in one of the rooms. You can't contain a happy shriek, which you quickly muffle by shutting your mouth with your hands. Julie might be alive. She has to be okay. She must. You will find her. But first, you grab your phone and dial emergency services. You hold your breath as you expect to hear the operator. Instead, there's static. The girl meets you with a sympathetic smile. We've tried that before, she explains. No signal go through, and there's no Wi-Fi either. Auntie hates technology, Victor says as he lies on the floor, rocking himself back and forth. Built a house in the middle of fucking woods like she's expecting Little Red Riding Hood at the door. This doesn't seem right, you say. At least emergency services should be working. The guy who keeps standing says that the monsters might be the reason. He tried calling the police after the killings began, and the signal went through. But as one of the monsters came nearer, the connection got lost. You swallow a lump in your throat. If you can't contact the outside, it might take days for people to notice that nobody returned from the party. You don't have days. You're not sure if you even have hours left. You voice your concerns. If the monsters finish everyone downstairs, it won't take long for them to come here. You've counted at least 7 of them. The door won't stand a chance. The guy and the girl don't share your enthusiasm to leave. They say it's best to stay inside, secure. Besides, there's a monster right behind the door, lurking in the corridor. They propose to wait until the help arrives. After some begging, you convince the girl to open the door again and let you leave. You tell her you'll try to get away and call the police, or the army, or anyone who can help. Please be safe, the girl says as she hugs you tightly. We're counting on you. You nod and clutch the air freshener in your hands. The bathroom door opens quietly and you slip outside like a shadow. No sight of the monster. Just as you take several steps, someone's shouting comes from the bathroom. You freeze, eyes wide at the growing noise. In a second, the bathroom door opens wide and Wick runs out. I can't take this anymore, he screams at the girl who is trying to reach for the handle with shaking hands. Before any of you can react properly, a shadow emerges from behind the corner and leaps in the direction of the bathroom. You run around the corner previously occupied by the beast. There are 2 doors, one of them wide open, splashes of blood everywhere. You knock at the second one, whispering and asking if anyone is inside. There's only silence. Your throat is burning. If Julie came to the 2nd floor, then she must be. Your eyes trail to the bloody mess in the 2nd room. No, it can't be. Someone grabs you by the throat. You attempt to scream, but a pair of hands forces you inside the room that was closed before. The hands release you, and you turn around. It's Julie. She looks at you with eyes wide open, her mouth crooked in a half smile. Hey, she says. What a party, am I right? You don't reply. Instead, you jump at her side, hugging her with all the strength you have left. You are crying again. This time, the tears are happy ones. You fill Julie in on all that happened to you before. She tells you how she managed to get to the 2nd floor after the panic started and locked herself in this room. You hug her again and tell her everything is going to be alright. You say you need to get to the car and drive away, then call the emergency services. Julie smiles at you, but it's a strained, tired smile. They got me, she whispers, showing you the inside of her arm. You gasp. There's a visible bite mark on Julie's skin. I think they're vampires, she says with uncertainty. I mean, they drink her blood and they look like giant bats. I smashed one of them with a fruit punch bowl, but it bit me. What if I become one of them? You can't take me with you. I'll give you my keys, but I'll stay. It's better. I swear it's better that way. She breaks down, crying on your shoulder. You can feel your stomach twisting. You turn to Victor, who's sitting in the corner, clutching his hair. You ask him why he did it. He doesn't answer. You shake him. You slap him in the face. He looks at you finally. You repeat your question. What the hell was that? Victor whines, his voice breaking. I don't know, okay? I just felt like I'd suffocate if I stayed in that stupid bathroom. I need to get out. I didn't mean to. Your hands curl into fists as you look at this pathetic man. An image flashes across your mind and you see the girl hugging you before you depart, wishing you luck. Maybe if you succeeded, if you escaped this place, they could have been saved. You slap him again, this time harder than you should have. Vic falls on the floor sobbing. I'm sorry, he keeps muttering at you. Please don't leave me here. I need to get out. I can't stay with those monsters. You tell him he'll just get everyone killed if you take him with you. He sobs, his glasses smeared with tears. Vic gets on his knees, pulling out his phone. No, wait. I can be useful, see? He shows you his phone. You ask him what he means by that. The monsters, they are sensitive to sound, right? The guy asks, looking at you pleadingly. You nod. My phone is still connected to the audio system. I can make the music loud, make those bastards deaf. We can escape. Please take me with you. I'll let you use my phone if you do. He's right about one thing. The monsters do seem to be most sensitive to sound. With their small eyes and large ears, you doubt they rely on sight to get around. And making the music loud enough could potentially distract them and give you an advantage. But can you risk a coward like Vic following you? The plan is simple. Come down the stairs as quietly as possible and go to the exit door. The monsters rely on sound, so you will use the music to your advantage. During the initial attack, people were screaming and running, which attracted the monster's attention. You pray that if you are quiet enough, you can leave. If Julie and/or Vic come with you, they follow you from behind. You reach the first floor after agonizing minutes of climbing down. Once you reach the middle of the stairs and can see the first floor, it takes all your restraint not to gag. There are bodies everywhere. Party guests, their limbs and throats torn open, lie on the floor motionless. The creatures slowly walk around the room, the music blasting from the speakers. You look at the room and notice a burning fireplace in the faraway corner. An idea strikes you. If you can spread the fire, maybe you can trap those monsters and kill them. But it's impossible to go there without any cover. You will become a meal for sure. You silently mouth to Victor to turn on the music volume. He obeys, and soon your ears are assaulted with loud banging tunes. You whisper your plan. You will start the fire and run to the exit before the monsters figure out what's happening. The rest of the survivors should run to the door from the stairs the moment the fire starts. Not wanting to hear any objections, you descend the stairs further until you are on the first floor. The monsters are distracted by the music, gathering around the music system and hissing at it with anger. Somehow, you make it past the howling pack of monsters and reach the fireplace. The fire is blazing inside, just the spark that you need to set this whole house ablaze. But how do you do it fast enough to cause the distraction? You crawl through the bodies, careful to pay attention to the monsters still distracted by the music. As you reach the exit door, something grabs your ankle. You barely suppress a scream. Looking down, you see him, the same guy who saved your life, who punched the monsters and gave you the chance to escape. He's lying on the floor, clutching at the wound on his side. He's whispering something. You can't hear the words, but you know what he's asking for. To save him. The night air is fresh in your lungs as you use the last of your strength to reach the car. The door opens and you finally feel like you can breathe again. As the engine starts, you push the pedals and leave the hellhole behind. Now, time to see the consequences. The party feels suffocating. You try breathing, but all you can sense is a mix of body spray, spilled drinks, and weirdly wet ground. Luckily, you spot an open window nearby, and a guy standing beside it. You push your way through, stepping on feet and apologizing a dozen times in the process. Finally, you're at your destination. The guy pays you no attention as you breathe in fresh night air. You feel better already. Your eyes drift to the party guest, and with surprise, you notice he's smoking. You tell him he should go outside. The guy looks back at you. You half expect him to say something rude, but he just nods at you with a light smirk. "Believe me, I've tried," he says as he takes another drag on the cigarette. "There are way too many people. I'd punch somebody in the face before I made it to the exit." You shrug your shoulders. Fair enough. The guy stays silent and you don't know how to continue the conversation. You glance at him and decide he's not bad looking either. He's wearing a leather jacket that has seen better days, but he somehow pulls it off. His dark eyes are looking at the forest behind the fence. "Think I'm gonna bail," he says, letting out a huff of smoke. "You don't look too happy about this place either. Want to come with?" You think for a second about what's more stupid, staying at a party you don't like or leaving with a guy you don't know. You say no. The guy shrugs. Fair enough. He throws the cigarette away and disappears in the crowd. You notice he left his lighter on the windowsill. You take it in your pocket in case you see the guy again. Everyone knows the best way to pass the time is to stuff your mouth with food. So you do just that. If the size of the mansion wasn't enough to convince you the host is rich, the snack table did for sure. And luckily for you, nobody came to talk to you either. In your book, it's a win-win situation. You decide to finally give socializing a chance. Before your brain can process it, you come straight into the middle of the room and start moving your body to the rhythm of whatever song is playing now. Oddly enough, you feel much more relaxed here than you did stuck in the corner. You dance to the music, not paying attention to the mass of bodies surrounding you. Who knows, you might just enjoy the party yet. Despite the horrible feeling in your gut, you pull closer until the girl's lips are almost touching your ear. Her voice is too weak, but you understand one word. Run. Warm liquid flows from her mouth down your neck. You shudder. She puts something in your hand and finally breaks the contact. A quick glance and you recognize the thing. A cross. You rush to help the guy, pulling at the creature on his back, trying to get it away from him. You succeed. The monster stopped paying attention to him. Now its eyes are on you. You take a step back, but the creature is faster than you. It opens its jaw and you see a row of sharp teeth like spikes. It bites at your shoulders, locking you in one place. You scream and fight, but you are too weak against it. You feel your blood pouring, your consciousness slipping. In the corner of your eye, you see the body of your failed savior, the guy in a leather jacket. The second creature pinned him to the floor, biting into his side. You scream with all the force you are capable of, calling for help. The creature turns sharply at the sound of your voice, jumping in your direction. You turn your back on it to flee, and that's your biggest mistake. The last thing you feel is the agony of claws, sharp as knives, tearing your spine apart. Before the monster fully turns in your direction, you grab a lamp from the nearby table and smash it against its head. The lamp hits the creature, breaking in half as the light bulb shatters from the impact. Pieces of glass sticking from its face, the creature screams. It rushes in your direction, you turn your back on it to flee, and that's your biggest mistake. The last thing you feel is the agony of claws sharp as knives, tearing your spine apart. You freeze, trying to make as little sound as possible. It doesn't seem like the creature noticed you. You can feel your heart pulsing in your chest. Slowly, you'd look around, searching for any way out. Suddenly, you hear it, a barely audible creak behind you. You turn and see a door being opened. Just barely, not enough to go inside. But if you come there in time, then maybe the creature moves, gradually turning in your direction. Before it can see you, you take several steps back, careful not to make a sound. Finally, you reach the door, and through the crack there's a human eye staring right back at you. The door opens. You run inside. The creature grabs at the air where you stood not a second ago. Your hands find the cross that you put in the pocket of your jeans. You don't know what you're doing, but you position the thing in front of you. The creature turns around just as you take a step back, and the creaky floorboard gives up your location. The monster rushes to the spot where you stand, but the second its face meets the cross in your hand, it jumps back, clutching its burning flesh. Your eyes go wild as you smile. It worked. Suddenly you hear it, a barely audible creak behind you. You turn and see the door being opened. Just barely, not enough to go inside. But if you come there in time, then maybe. The creature moves, slowly turning in your direction. It's howling at its burnt flesh, but you don't care. You take several steps back, cross still in front of you. Finally, you reach the door, and through the crack there's a human eye staring right back at you. The door opens. You're too excited to notice the creature plunging at you with horrible speed. Not realizing what you're doing, you throw the cross directly at the monster, and it pushes back as the cross hits it on its forehead. You run inside. The creature grabs at the air where you stood not a second ago. The right. It's best to stay in a secure place, with at least a door standing between you and the monsters, than risking your life trying to get out. So, you stay inside and wait. After a couple of hours, the music stops and the last screams die out. You are alone. You hear scratching on the door. It grows stronger until it's joined by an array of claws and shrieks, breaking your last line of defense. In a matter of seconds, the door is broken off its hinges and the pack of monsters fills the bathroom space. You are torn apart, bit by bit, drop by drop, until there's nothing left. You shake your head. It's stupid, you know, going outside and risking your life like that. But you don't feel like waiting, not when Julie might be alive, not when the monsters are still distracted downstairs. If that guy in the leather jacket could fight one, so can you. You search the room for any sort of weapon, but the only thing you can find is a daisy-scented bathroom air freshener. You hate your life, but keep the canister in your hands. Maybe the monsters hate daisies. You use the only thing available, the daisy-scented can in your hands. You send the gust of fresh air straight into the monster's face. It squints its beady eyes, snarling at you. You step back just in time as it swings its claws, slashing through Vic's neck. The girl emits a loud cry, looking at the blood spraying from Vic's lifeless body. The monster's head snaps in the direction of the noise, and before you can react or do anything, it jumps inside the bathroom, trapping everyone inside. You can only stare as the monster, without any visible effort, pierces the girl's chest and grabs the guy's neck, finishing one and immobilizing the other. Your whole body is burning. You do the only thing you can think of. While the monster is distracted, loudly gulping the freshly spilled blood, you close the door to the bathroom. You pray the creature is too focused on its meal. Not caring about making a sound, you push the nearby drawer to the floor, trapping the creature inside. The slurping sounds are still coming, accompanied by a faint masculine moaning. You turn around and run. You can feel tears burning down your face. A thought runs through your brain. You take the lighter from your pocket and push the button of the air freshener, sending a whirl of fire in the monster's direction. It shrieks in pain, stepping back, clutching at its burning flesh. You step forward, pressing the button, hoping the creature burns completely. But without warning, the spray runs out, killing the fire. The girl at the bathroom door gasps, still reaching for the handle. The monster's head snaps in the direction of the noise, and before you can react or do anything, it jumps inside the bathroom, trapping everyone inside. You can only stare as the monster, without any visible effort, pierces the girl's chest and grabs the guy's neck, finishing one and immobilizing the other. Your whole body is burning. You do the only thing you can think of, while the monster is distracted, loudly gulping the freshly spilled blood. You close the door. You pray the creature is too focused on its meal. Not caring about making a sound, you push the nearby drawer to the door, trapping the creature inside. The slurping sounds are still coming, accompanied by faint masculine moaning. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see Vic looking at you with an absent expression. You turn around and run, the murderer beside you. You can feel tears burning down your face. You shake her gently and put your hand on her arm. There's no guarantee she'll turn into one of them. You haven't seen it so far, and you don't even know if those vampires are like anything you've seen in the movies. But they might, Julie begins. You tell her to shut up. You won't leave her behind. You're my ride home, remember? You tell her and smile. She smiles back, wiping her tears away. Yeah, I am, she answers. You hug Julie tightly, feeling your shoulders shake with her every sob. It doesn't take long for you to start crying too. Memories flash before your eyes. You meeting Julie your first week of uni, exchanging phone numbers, studying together, meeting almost every single day. And now, you're leaving your best friend behind to save yourself, all because of those monsters. You hug Julie one last time and promise you will call for help once you're out of here. She nods at you, but there's no hope in her eyes. You make her run for it. You give it your all, practically sprinting to the fireplace. What you didn't think of is that running around with bodies on the floor and vampires behind your back isn't easy. You stumble on someone's torso and fall down. The monsters, attracted by your running and the sound of falling, waste no time finding you and tearing at your flesh. You breathe your lungs full of oxygen and lower yourself to the floor until you are surrounded by the dead. The smell of blood floods your nostrils. You concentrate on moving forward, one step, then another. You are slowly crawling to the fireplace, strong scent of human flesh masking your own. As you reach half the room, your heart stops. There's a vampire standing right in front of you. It seems to have frozen in place, less distracted by the music than its pack members. How do you go forward? You stay on the spot, trying to calm down your beating heart and heavy breathing. You lower yourself even further, completely blending with the lying bodies. After some time, the vampire leaves, stepping on the palm of your hand. You wince, but make no sound. You attempt to crawl around the creature, making as little noise as possible, but it's too close to you. The slightest sound is enough to trigger it. You don't even have time to stand up as the vampire crashes into you, biting the back of your neck, pinning you to the floor. You stand up swiftly and pull at the curtains nearby, trying to reach for the fire. The hair on the back of your neck stands up as you realize the length of the curtains is not enough. You pull with all your strength and finally the curtains give in and fall off the wall together with the rod. The sound it makes is devastatingly loud. You don't care anymore. The fabric goes inside the fire, setting it ablaze. You did it. The house is burning down. But you took too long. Were too loud. The creatures surround you in a circle, cutting out your escape. You are torn apart before fire reaches your skin. But you did it. You burned the monsters alive. take a bottle of flammable alcohol from the snack table and roll behind it. The fireplace is near enough that you could throw the bottle in while still having the cover of the table. You gulp, betting it all on your aim. Your hands, as if separate from your brain, throw the bottle at the blazing fire. Perfect shot. The alcohol gives it just enough power to shoot in all directions, spread into the curtains and the carpet. You did it. Now time to get out. It's too risky. He's too injured. The exit is too close. You want to leave. You want to leave so badly. You take a look at the guy and mouth sorry silently before turning your back on him one last time and dashing towards the exit. You don't think twice, don't even process the decision. A life for a life. You lean down, putting the guy's arm over your shoulder. Thankfully he can still walk. You reach the exit doors, leaving the house. Later that night, the regret and fear of missing out start eating you alive. You text Julie, asking how things are going at the party. She doesn't reply. You text again. She ignores you. You decide she's still angry with you and it's better to give her some space. She'll respond eventually, but she doesn't. You try texting, you try calling, you call Julie's parents and ask your classmates if anyone has seen her. It is only when you watch the news about the massacre at some rich boy's mansion in the middle of the woods that you realize Julie is never coming back. Your best friend in the passenger seat, you behind the wheel, the two of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. Julie clutches at her wound, looking at you with unease. You squeeze her hand reassuringly. You won't leave her, ever. Julie doesn't say anything, but you see her wiping tears away from the corner of her eyes. You don't even have the strength to say, "I told you so." You are just happy she is alive. With you. The monsters shriek inside the house with a thunderous noise as your car drives further away. They didn't get you, but you didn't get them either. You shudder as you notice a figure emerging from the house, heading back to the forest. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. You behind the wheel, you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. The monsters shriek inside the house with a thunderous noise as your car drives further away. They didn't get you, but you didn't get them either. You shudder as you notice a figure emerging from the house, heading back to the forest. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. The host of the party is crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The two of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The monsters shriek inside the house with a thunderous noise as your car drives further away. They didn't get you, but you didn't get them either. You shudder as you notice a figure emerging from the house, heading back to the forest. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. The host of the party is crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The two of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The monsters shriek inside the house as the fire covers the mansion in its orange flames, and your car drives further away. You can hear the beasts dying inside, and you can even smell the burning flesh. A smile creeps onto your lips. They won't hurt anybody anymore. Are there more like them? You don't know. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. Your best friend in the passenger seat, the host of the party crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The 3 of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. Julie clutches at her wound, looking at you with unease. You squeeze her hand reassuringly. You won't leave her. Ever. Julie doesn't say anything, but you see her wiping tears away from the corner of her eyes. You don't even have the strength to say I told you so. You are just happy she is alive. With you. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The monsters shriek inside the house with a thunderous noise as your car drives further away. They didn't get you, but you didn't get them either. You shudder as you notice a figure emerging from the house, heading back to the forest. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. Your best friend in the passenger seat, the host of the party crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The 3 of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. Julie clutches at her wound, looking at you with unease. You squeeze her hand reassuringly. You won't leave her. Ever. Julie doesn't say anything, but you see her wiping tears away from the corner of her eyes. You don't even have the strength to say I told you so. You are just happy she is alive. With you. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The monsters shriek inside the house as the fire covers the mansion in its orange flames, and your car drives further away. You can hear the beasts dying inside, and you can even smell the burning flesh. A smile creeps onto your lips. They won't hurt anybody anymore. Are there more like them? You don't know. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. The stranger who saved you, groaning but alive, the host of the party crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The 3 of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. The stranger who saved your life clutches his wound and smiles at you. He asks if you have any cigarettes. You tell him there's been enough fire for one night. He laughs. Good. If he can laugh, he can survive until you reach the hospital. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The monsters shriek inside the house as the fire covers the mansion in its orange flames, and your car drives further away. You can hear the beasts dying inside, and you can even smell the burning flesh. A smile creeps onto your lips. They won't hurt anybody anymore. Are there more like them? You don't know. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. Your best friend in the passenger seat, the stranger who saved you, groaning but alive, the host of the party crying in the back seat, you behind the wheel. The four of you leave behind the scariest thing you have ever lived through. But you have lived through it. You survived. Julie clutches at her wound, looking at you with her knees. You squeeze her harder, assuringly. You won't leave her, ever. Julie doesn't say anything, but you see her wiping tears away from the corner of her eyes. You don't even have the strength to say I told you so. You're just happy she's alive. With you. You look at the guy responsible for the death of at least 2 people. Despite it, you can't help but tell Wick it wasn't his fault. Not necessarily because you believe it, but because he needs to hear it now. He survived, but now he'll live with the consequences. The stranger who saved your life clutches his wound and smirks at you. He asks if you have any cigarettes. You tell him there's been enough fire for one night. He laughs. Good. If he can laugh, he can survive until you reach the hospital. The monsters shriek inside the house as the fire covers the mansion in its orange flames and your car drives further away. You can hear the beasts dying inside, and you can even smell the burning flesh. A smile creeps onto your lips. They won't hurt anybody anymore. Are there more like them? You don't know. You don't concern yourself with fears. For now, you just look at the sun rising behind the pine trees. The morning came. You walk as fast as you can. Julie's car is just a dozen steps away from you, but you are not fast enough. One of the monsters crawls behind you. You can hear it before you can see it. Its slurping sounds, the smell of blood on its mouth. Together with the wounded guy, you're an easy target. The monster rips your leg, leaving you to roll on the ground and watch as it sucks every single drop of blood from your unlucky savior in the leather jacket. Then, the vampire turns to you.